Good morning, students. Today we are continuing the endocrine system, in which we have studied about 10 endocrine glands. The ovary, yesterday we studied half of the portion, that is the ovary. Ovary, in which the follicles and the corpus luteum are the endocrine parts. The primary function of the ovary is to produce the ova, or the female sex cell or female gamete. Apart from that, it also produces the endocrine hormones which control the different activities of the metabolic activities of the body or activities of the body. So these chemical messengers or the hormones are produced by the follicles produced in the ovary and the corpus luteum. After ovulation, the mass is called the corpus luteum, and this corpus luteum produces the hormone. So two hormones are produced. They are estrogen. The hormone called estrogen is produced by the theca interna cells of the follicle. The Graafian follicle is covered by two layers, theca externa and the theca interna, and the theca interna cells, follicular cells, they produce the hormone called estrogen. Secondly, after ovulation, the remaining part of the follicle forms an important yellow structure called as corpus luteum, which has endocrine function. So the corpus luteum also produces the hormone called progesterone. The progesterone is formed by or produced by the corpus luteum. Now coming to the functions of the two hormones, the estrogen at point number 1, at the onset of puberty, estrogen plays an important role in the development of female secondary sex characters. The female secondary sex characters are developed by this estrogen on the onset of puberty. ಹೆಣ್ಣುಮಕ್ಕಳು ದೊಡ್ಡವರಾದ ತಕ್ಷಣ ಅವರಲ್ಲಿ secondary sex characters develop ಆಗ್ತವೆ. So these secondary sex characters are developed by estrogen, the hormone produced by the ovary, that is the estrogen. In females, it helps in the development of breasts, wider hip, pubic and armpit hairs. Breast development, then it widens the hip region is widened, then pubic and armpit hair, the armpit hair or the axial portion hair are developed by the hormone called estrogen. This estrogen stimulates the development of the hair. It also regulates menstrual cycle, controlling the growth of uterine lining during the first part of the cycle. So this estrogen hormone regulates the menses cycle, that is the menstrual cycle. ಹೆಣ್ಮಕ್ಳು ಹೊರಗಡೆ ಕೂತ್ಕೊಳ್ತಾರಲ್ಲ, that is called as menstrual cycle, and that menstrual cycle is controlled or regulated by estrogen. The growth of the uterine lining during the first part of the cycle, the growth of the uterine wall is controlled or regulated by estrogen. It also regulates the flow of uterine mucus secretion. The mucus secretion of the uterus, that is called uterine mucus secretion, which flows out after the at the end of the menstrual cycle. So it also regulates this activity, that is the uterine mucus secretion, flow of the uterine mucus secretion. It helps to stop the flow of milk after weaning. After weaning, the milk production is stopped, and this is due to the effect of estrogen. The estrogen production helps to stop the flow of milk after weaning. After weaning means ಹಾಲು ಕೊಡೋದು ನಿಲ್ಲಿಸಿದಾಗ, ಮಗುವಿಗೆ ಹಾಲು ಕೊಡುವುದನ್ನು ನಿಲ್ಲಿಸಿದಾಗ ವಿ ಕ್ಯಾನ್ ಸಿ ದ್ಯಾಟ್ ಇಟ್ ಈಸ್ ಕಾಲ್ಡ್ ಆಸ್ ವೇನಿಂಗ್. ಹಾಲು ಕೊಡೋದು ನಿಲ್ಲಿಸೋದಂದರೆ ವೇನಿಂಗ್ ಅಂತ. ಮಗು 2 ವರ್ಷ 3 ವರ್ಷ ಆದಮೇಲೆ ತಾಯಿ ಏನು ಮಾಡ್ತಾಳೆ, ಹಾಲು ಕೊಡೋದನ್ನು, ಮೊಲೆ ಹಾಲು ಕೊಡೋದನ್ನು ನಿಲ್ಲಿಸ್ತಾಳೆ. ಬೇರೆ ಆಹಾರ, ಗಟ್ಟಿ ಆಹಾರ ಎಲ್ಲ ಕೊಡಬೇಕಾಗುತ್ತೆ, ಫುಡ್ ಎಲ್ಲ ರೀತಿಯ ಫುಡ್ಗಳನ್ನು ಮಕ್ಕಳಿಗೆ ಕೊಡಬೇಕು. ಸೊ ಫಾರ್ ದ್ಯಾಟ್ ದೇ ವಿಲ್ ಸ್ಟಾಪ್ ದಿ ಬ್ರೆಸ್ಟ್ ಫೀಡಿಂಗ್ ಆ್ಯಂಡ್ ಇಟ್ ಈಸ್ ಕಾಲ್ಡ್ ವೇನಿಂಗ್. So during weaning, the flow of the blood, the flow of the milk is stopped by the stimulation of estrogen hormone. It maintains the thickness of vaginal wall and promotes the lubrication. It maintains the thickness of vaginal wall. The vaginal wall is thickness of the vaginal wall, and the promotion of the lubrication of the vagina is due to the production of estrogen, stimulation of the estrogen. During copulation, this happens. During copulation, the thickness of the vaginal wall and the lubrication of the vaginal wall is done by the estrogen. So it is responsible for development and regulation of female reproductive system. It is responsible for development and regulation of female reproductive system. The female reproductive organs are developed by the stimulation of this hormone called estrogen. Now coming to the last point, it also plays an important role during pregnancy. It also plays an important role during pregnancy. So during pregnancy, it plays a very important role. Coming to the second hormone called progesterone. Point number 1, it prepares the uterus endometrial wall for implantation of the blastocyte. So after copulation, the male and female gametes, they unite together to form the zygote, that is a blastocyte. It is also called as blastocyte. This blastocyte or the zygote should be implanted on the walls of the uterus, because there they will develop into the fetus, and this blastocyte is implanted in the uterine wall and produces the placenta, which dissolves or which involves in the connection of the mother and the child or the fetus. The mother and the fetus are connected by the placenta. All the food materials, the blood supply, then oxygen supply is through this placenta, and this is called implantation. The zygote or the blastocyte is implanted on the uterine wall, and this is supplemented or augmented by the hormone called progesterone. So the progesterone plays a very important role in the implantation of the blastocyte on the uterine endometrial wall. So the estrogen promotes or augments the implantation of the blastocyte. Next point, it helps the mammary glands to produce milk during the childbirth. During the childbirth, it helps the mammary glands, the breast glands, to produce milk during the childbirth. After the childbirth, the child should be fed with the mother's milk, and this milk is produced in the mammary gland of the mother, and this is augmented or supplemented by the hormone called progesterone. Next one, it inhibits the muscle contraction of uterus that could cause the body to reject an egg. The blastocyte or the egg or the zygote should not be rejected by the endometrial wall, and for this the contraction of the uterus wall, the contraction of the uterus muscles is controlled or inhibited by the hormone called progesterone, so that the zygote is implanted on the uterine endometrial wall. Hence, the uterine muscle contraction is reduced by the reduced by this hormone. It inhibits the muscle contraction of the uterus. Next point, it supports to pregnancy, hence it is called as hormone of pregnancy. So this is a very important hormone called as the pregnancy hormone. This is called pregnancy hormone or the hormone of pregnancy, and plays a very important role during the pregnancy only. So it is called pregnancy hormone. It helps in the development of fetus, that is the embryo. The development of the embryo or the fetus is by the help of this hormone. It plays an important role in the release of insulin and pancreatic function. It also plays an important role in the release of insulin and pancreatic function. Now the last one is the 11th one, that is the placenta. So you can see the figure of the placenta here. Clearly you can see the figure which is present in the notes also. So it is very clear in the notes. So this is the placenta present here. This is the placenta. Then the endometrium wall here. This is all endometrial wall, and this is the fetus developing, and this is umbilical cord, which is a connection between the mother and the fetus, developing fetus. These are the ovaries, and this is the uterus. This portion is the uterus, and this is the placenta. This is the placenta, which is nothing but the layer combined with the mother and the fetus. Hence it is called as the placenta, and it is a connection between mother and the fetus, developing fetus. So this placenta is also an endocrine gland. The placenta is also an endocrine gland. Now coming to the first point, placenta is an organ that is developed during pregnancy. So during pregnancy only it develops. After the childbirth it comes out, or it will be dissolved out. It will be thrown out. But during pregnancy it develops. It is developed during pregnancy only. It is an temporary organ that connects the developing fetus with the uterine wall of the mother via umbilical cord. It is a temporary organ which connects the fetus and the uterine wall of the mother via umbilical cord. Umbilical cord is there. It allows nutrient uptake, thermoregulation, waste elimination, and gaseous exchange through mother's blood supply. The mother's blood supply to the fetus gives out the gases, thermoregulation, elimination of the waste materials. All these things takes place in the placenta, which is a connecting link. It also fights against the internal infections. Internal infections are prohibited by this placenta. It fights against the internal infections. It also produces hormones which support pregnancy. It also produces hormones, chemical messengers, which support the pregnancy. The chronic villi of fetus and the uterine tissue fuse together to form the structural and functional unit called placenta. The placenta is nothing but the chronic villi of the fetus and the uterine tissue fuse with each other to form the placenta, which is nothing but the structural and functional unit. It is the connecting link between the fetus and the mother. The placenta is the connecting link between fetus and the mother. Placenta functions as a feto-maternal organ. It is a fetus and maternal organ with the two components, fetal placenta and maternal placenta. Two components are there in the placenta, the fetal placenta and the maternal placenta, two parts. The mother also shares its placenta, and the fetus, developing embryo, also shares its placenta, both together to form the placenta. Fetal placenta consists of fetal capillary network, fetal connective tissue, and fetal chorionic epithelium. So the fetal placenta consists of the capillary network, fetal capillary network, fetal connective tissue, and fetal chorionic epithelial cells. That is the epithelium. Then the maternal placenta consists of uterine epithelium, uterine connective tissue, and uterine capillary network. The maternal placenta consists of uterine epithelium, uterine connective tissue, and uterine capillary network. Now coming to the functions of these two hormones, the hormones produced by the placenta. Placenta produces steroid hormones, estrogen and progesterone. So again, the estrogen and progesterone are also formed or produced by the placenta. Placenta produces the chemical messengers called estrogen and progesterone during pregnancy, which are important in the maintenance of the healthy pregnancy. So the healthy pregnancy is maintained by the chemical messenger produced by the placenta, that is estrogen and the progesterone, and in the preparation of labor and breastfeeding. And in the preparation of labor means magu ಹೊರಗಡೆ ಬರುವಂಥ ಸಂದರ್ಭ, that is called as labor, and breastfeeding, ಮಗು ಹುಟ್ಟಿದ ಮೇಲೆ ಮಗುಗೆ ಹಾಲು ಕೊಡೋದಕ್ಕೆ breast feeding ಅಂತಾರೆ. So this pregnancy, labor and breastfeeding of the woman is controlled by the hormone called estrogen and progesterone produced by the placenta during pregnancy. Coming to the estrogen, point number 1, the levels of this hormone rises towards the end of pregnancy. Towards the end of the pregnancy, the production of this hormone rises. It stimulates the growth of uterus to give place for development of fetus. It stimulates the growth of the uterus. The growth of uterus is stimulated by this hormone, and it gives the place for the developing fetus. The developing fetus gets the place. Next one, during labor, it allows the uterus to contract and prepares uterus for labor. So this is a very important point, that is nothing but during labor it allows the uterus to contract and prepares the uterus for labor. It prepares the uterus for delivery or labor. Next one, it also stimulates the growth and development of mammary glands during pregnancy. During pregnancy, it helps or it stimulates the growth and development of the mammary glands, that is the breast. Coming to the progesterone, the hormone, second hormone, progesterone, secreted by the placenta. It maintains pregnancy by supporting lining of uterus, providing a clean environment for the fetus. It maintains the pregnancy. It helps in the maintaining the pregnancy, and the lining of the uterus is kept clean by this progesterone hormone. It helps in the development of placenta. During the development of the placenta, it is very necessary that the progesterone hormone must be there. So the progesterone hormone helps in the development of the placenta. Progesterone prevents the shedding of endometrium during pregnancy. Progesterone prevents the shedding of endometrium. The endometrium wall of the uterus should not come out because there is a fetus which is implanted on the endometrium. That is the wall of the uterus, and the uterus wall, that is called endometrium, should not come out. So this is maintained by this progesterone hormone. Progesterone suppresses the contraction of muscular layer of the uterine wall during pregnancy, which avoids the termination of the fetus, or the abortion of the fetus is stopped by this progesterone hormone, which suppresses the contraction of the muscular layer of the uterine wall. The uterine wall muscles contraction is stopped by this hormone, and hence the pregnancy is continued. It is not terminated. Next point, this hormone also prepares for labor or for delivery of the baby. This hormone prepares for the labor. Next point, placenta also releases several protein hormones which include human chorionic gonadotrophins, HCG, that is the human chorionic gonadotrophins, which are the protein hormones. For example, placental lactogen, placental growth hormone, relaxin, and kisspeptin, relaxin, placenta growth hormone, placenta lactogen hormone. All these are human chorionic gonadotrophins. They are HCG hormones, which are protein hormones. So these hormones are also produced by the placenta. The hormone human chorionic gonadotrophin, HCG, that is the first hormone to be released from the developing placenta, is measured in the pregnancy test. So in the pregnancy test, this HCG hormone is detected. Then the pregnancy is confirmed. So the pregnancy test is for human chorionic gonadotrophin hormones of the placenta. So this is about the placenta, which is a very important part of the uterus, which is nothing but a endocrine gland also, and produces the hormones called estrogen and progesterone. So that is the 11th one. So once again I will tell all the things which we have learned. In the endocrine system, the ductless glands are present, and they are called ductless glands or endocrine glands, and these produce the chemical messengers called hormones. These hormones are directly poured into the bloodstream and they will act on the metabolic activities of the body, different activities of the body. So there are 11 major endocrine glands we have studied. The first one is the pituitary or hypophysis cerebri gland. Second one is thyroid gland. Third one is the parathyroid gland. Fourth is adrenal or suprarenal gland. Fifth is hypothalamus gland. Sixth is pineal gland. Seventh is the pancreas, in which the islets of Langerhans are the parts of the endocrine system. Then eighth is thymus gland. Ninth is testis, in which the interstitial cells are the endocrine parts. 10th one is the ovary, in which the follicle and the corpus luteum are the endocrine parts. Then last one, 11th, is the placenta. So all the 11 major endocrine glands we have studied. So this is all about the endocrine system, and this system is a very important system in our body, along with the nervous system. The functions of the human body, all the functions, number of functions are there in our body. All the functions are regulated by two systems called, the first one is the nervous system and the second is the endocrine system. These two systems control almost all activities of our body. The endocrine glands discharge their secretions directly into the bloodstream. Hence they are called ductless glands. They are ductless glands. The secretions of the endocrine gland are called hormones, which are nothing but organic chemical messengers secreted directly into the bloodstream by the ductless glands or the endocrine glands, which control the different metabolic functions of our body. Hormones exert physiological control effects on other cells of the body. There are two types of hormones, local hormones and the general hormones. We have already studied all these things. So this is all about the endocrine system. So thank you very much. So tomorrow we'll start with a new chapter again. So endocrine system is also over. I have given the all the notes also. So you please go through the notes of the endocrine glands. 11 glands are there, and all 11 glands you have to study well. Hormones of the different glands are asked in the examinations. Name the hormones of adrenal gland or pituitary gland, or the anterior pituitary gland, posterior pituitary gland. So two parts are there in the anterior and the posterior part, and these two parts are very important in the pituitary gland. So thank you very much.